Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining. I'm Richard Olberger, clinical psychologist and moderator, podcast host of the Richard Listens Show. You can always check me out at Instagram at Richard Listens and at my patreon.com/Richard Listens page. I'm here, been invited. We are on episode 10 of PPC Winners Panel. 10 is always a great number, completion. And today we have a special guest, and we hope to keep bringing content to you to reach you where you are at in your business and in the world with relevant content. If you have questions, please put them in the chat box, and we will try and get answers to you during or after the broadcast. Again, I'm Richard Olberger, and my guest today is Mrs. Miri Gal-Bort. She is the co-managing director of EER Global, and her resume is quite impressive. She's got over 14 years in this position. She's also a lecturer to the major universities in Israel on human resource management. She has employees on 5 continents and over 30 people that she manages. So she's going to give us a few tips today on secrets to her success and tips for how maybe you can glean a little bit off of the knowledge that she's gaining about the changing face of human resources. Welcome, Miri.
Hi, good to be here, Richard.
Good to be here. It was a mouthful. Sorry about that, and thanks for helping me with my audio.
Sure.
I like your virtual background. Very cozy.
Thank you. Yes, I thought so. I actually took it from someone, so it would be nice.
All's fine until your guest has the same virtual background you do, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So how are you managing? I mean, are the universities everything back opened up?
So not really, actually. When this all started, the semester started. So I actually started. I've been teaching for the last 3 years, but this semester I've started a new course for a new university. I mean, it's not a new university. It was new to me, and we started off in Zoom. For me, it's not a problem. I've been living in Zoom for the past decade, and I've managed a global business, and I'm used to working remotely. This is how we manage the business all the time. So the coronavirus didn't change anything in the way we work anyway. So teaching in Zoom was really natural to me in a way. It was even convenient, you don't have to travel back and forth. But I think it was really difficult for the students because they had to sit down studying for 10, 12 hours a day. And it's really difficult staying at home. And I think part of the experience of being a student is meeting other people and meeting other students. And that's, part of the vibe, part of the scene. And I think it was really difficult on their side, which is why as soon as I could, part of my lesson is taking a tour to leading companies in Israel. So actually, we were meant to be in Facebook offices. Obviously, this is not happening because they're shutting. I mean, their offices are closed until 2021. But we did visit one major company here in Israel, and it was a really good experience. So.
Wow, just hearing you speak, it brings back emotions because I met the CEO of PPC Winner, Yuval, during a study abroad experience, and so much of studying is the hanging in the hallways and the lingering in buildings, and they even build in a 30-minute break between classes there in Israel, which I thought is great, where the class starts at 2 o'clock, but really it doesn't start till 2:15 to build in some of this socialization, how much that is a part of culture. So I know we're trying to normalize Zoom, and I know it's the new normal and how we're adjusting, but there is a little bit space for sadness when we reflect back on some of these changes.
Look, I mean, I think it's more useful to work like that. And as I said, I've been working like that for a decade. So I feel that it allowed me much more, a much better work-life balance. I get to do more, I manage my time more effectively. I don't do traffic at all. I have time to spend with my family and as well as doing sports or whatever I want to do. So I think the way I see it, everyone kind of joined me. That's what I've been doing all the time.
You've been leading the revolution all along.
Yeah. I didn't get it why everyone is doing the other way around. Now everyone is kind of joining the club.
So Miri, you mentioned, so you were intended to start working with global corporations such as Facebook, and there, is
No,
that what you?
Facebook doesn't work with agencies most of the time. So I was just about to visit them for my class. So we typically work with startups or global companies that have hiring needs like anywhere in the globe besides Israel. So it's like a one-stop shop for a company that one day they hire in Malta and one day they hire in Vietnam or one day in Thailand, whatever. So we're there to support the talent acquisition effort, and that's what we do.
So how will this change the way you work or the way you see company? Maybe you said you've already been adjusted to this for so
Yeah,
long,
well,
but
when it's all like March was supposed to be a really good month for us. We had a really good
mhm.
pipeline in terms of placing people and what have you. And just one day before the quarantine, everything I got like I have 100 open positions at any given time typically. So I got like dozens of phone calls from clients saying we have to stop everything. So immediately the activity dropped down, which was like really shocking, like from 100 to 30% in a week. It's scary. It's really scary.
So now that we've things have kind of calmed and are opening up, do you reach back up to these clients? I mean, are you educating them on how hiring might look
First of
different?
all,
Yeah.
yes. First of all, I can say I want to bring a positive note that we feel since even May that things are getting like much better. I mean, we're not where we were before, but it's definitely in the really right direction. It's going there very quickly. Every day, things add up, and I did call clients to find out whether or not they're bringing back the position. Some did, some didn't. So but now I'm getting calls from clients who are telling me that they want to open new positions, um, or they want to just give us the old ones back. And my feeling is that the companies that survives this financially had enough of like sitting on the bench and waiting, and they want to be active and start and actually implement or do what they planned. For instance, I have a client who is just starting in the US. It's a new application. I don't want to say what it is, but they kind of started a small project with us of hiring 2 people in the US with the motion of hiring 10 to 20 people this year. And when the coronavirus started here in Israel, they said, let's stop everything. And now we're looking for 8 people for them. So, and nothing has changed. In the US, I think the situation is even decreased. Correct me if I'm wrong. And things are not normal, far from that. But, they have the financials and, they feel that that's how I see it, that they just want to get the ball rolling in a way. They don't want to lose the year. So the ones who survived it financially are now not sitting on the bench anymore and are going back to business. And I think that our business, like our flow and the way we do, really reflects on the kind of B2B economy, in a great way, because we work with businesses that needs to hire people, and that tells you the whole picture. So if companies are downsizing and they're not hiring, then this will give you the direction that things are going, the businesses are going into. So to me, the fact that I see that we're getting very close to the numbers that we had before in all aspects. Let me just switch the WhatsApp so you won't hear the, sorry about that. So the fact that we're getting to those numbers again in such a short time, to me, it's really good news, because it means that companies are now ready to to gear up again. And again, we were ready. By the way, we're getting ready for a very difficult year. Like, of course, we expect for the best, but like financially, we're ready for a difficult year. A year where we would get. We're thinking that we will even get half of the revenue that we had like before the coronavirus. That's what we're planning, and that's what we're building our assets, like our financial assets, to be prepared for. And I think as a business, every business needs to be prepared like that to be able to move, to deal with crises like that. Of course, it taught me a lot. I learned a lot from this crisis, as a business. Like the last two crises, I didn't have my own business back then. I was as an employee, and I was in London in 2008. I was there for 10 years, and I saw that as an HR manager. And before that, I was just a candidate. So I was just between jobs, and I felt, and I was a part of it, but not as a business owner. So now
So
I see things differently.
do you
And
feel that companies are now, shifting their projections for the next quarter? Can you as a HR leader reach out to them now,
I'm always reaching
help them
out, and I'm
plan?
always being reached out because I manage so many HR groups. I get every day I get at least few approaches by HR leaders in Israel to talk about, we're like a hub in Israel for HR people that want to go globally. By the way, we don't have just Israeli companies as clients. We work with any global company that wants to hire outside of the country. Obviously, like I'm Israeli, so we've created a very good network here in Israel, but it's not just in Israel.
So what tips do you have for businesses, now that if they were able to survive and manage through this crisis, and now they're entering this next stage?
I think that first of all, the reason that we survive is the being ready financially for that. I know it's not possible in each business, and sometimes there is like a huge investment that needs to be made in terms of equipment and what have you. But when you deal with professional services, you don't need any leverage. Mainly, the main cost is people. So if you have good years, you're able to save capital in order to support yourself in difficult times, and you always have to have financially be ready for difficult times and not spend, even if you are making a good income and what have you. I think it's really important that you are saving up for difficult time. And I'm not talking about just 1 month or 2 months savings, but I'm talking about being able to support the business for a few good months without earning anything. And that can build you the stability that you need.
Yes, and for those that maybe don't have those reserves, and now they're coming out and trying to project forward, how do they shift to the new landscape?
So I think that it's important to understand, how does the market looks like, and all the time the way we work is as a business. There are like 5 lines of operation that we do. We have the sales, marketing, finance, the actual job itself, the recruitment. So it's 5, right? Finance, recruitment, sales, finance, and marketing. So we make sure that like every week that we work, we progress. It's horizontal. We progress in a horizontal way, and we always deal with all those things, and we're checking what's missing every week. So we're seeing if financially there wasn't a lot of revenue generated, then we're taking advantage of that and trying to look, okay, what do we need to do? If there were not enough leads coming in, then we're checking, okay, maybe we need to invest time in arranging more events. If there were not enough closing, so let's say we have a lot of candidates in the pipeline and none of them were closed, but we need to make placements. That's the business. So we look at that. So we're every week we make sure that we are looking at all those 5 pillars of the business and promote the ones that are maybe weaker on that week where we need to invest more time. So if leads are not coming this month, it means that the next 3 months from now, we're not going to have starts of new projects, which means we're not going to have income 3 months later. So we're like always, it's like a circle that you need to feed all the time.
That's a really good approach, having a 5-pillar based approach, and always checking in where you're in balance and where you're out of balance.
I'm actually making times, and I'm very strict with my time. I'm very strict when it comes to my time management, and so I block time in my diary, and I would say, okay, this time is for finance, this time is for Mondays, for instance, is for update calls with all the recruiters. So Mondays, usually I'm completely booked. So I'm not talking to anyone. Like, of course, if clients call, I will answer that. But most of the time is blocked based on what I'm doing. So, like I'm not very spontaneous, obviously, in my nature.
That's
Um,
okay if that's what makes you successful.
yeah, it's going well for me, so it's hard for me to change it. But I worked with a therapist. She told me that I need to do something which is unplanned once a month to lose everything else and just do it. And it's like
I
really, it's
like
something
it.
that I want to go to the beach to do something, some sport activity, and I told her I can't do it because it's something that it depends on the waves, and it's very unpredictable. And she told me, okay, you have to go out of your comfort zone, and I can't because like I really want to plan everything. So, but it
So what's
works
your
okay.
one activity this month?
I haven't done it yet, but it's to go to the beach to do like some surfing. So
Well, it's okay. Even if you get there, you can be just practice mindfulness. Just watch the waves,
yeah, something
watch the
like that.
birds flying. It
Yeah,
still counts.
yeah.
Just
If I
put
if
your
I only
feet in the
get there,
sand.
if I only get there.
That's the spontaneous part, huh? Getting in the car.
Yes.
We did it yesterday. Thankfully, we finally made it. Getting everyone to sit on the sand for an hour and eat some
Okay.
fruit. So that was our big venture out. Uh, people, some with masks, some without masks, trying to figure out the new landscape here.
Yes.
But that's the therapy we're practicing here. Nature therapy
Yeah.
resets the nervous system. Okay, well, any closing thoughts? I mean, you mentioned, you're teaching at universities. I'm assuming everything is going to be on Zoom now,
Yeah.
or for the
I
for the
think
fall
both. It will
semester.
be a mixture, I guess. Uh, yes, I think that it's really important to try and identify the mode of the market and see what will be needed and what will not be needed and whether your service is still needed, and to talk to clients and don't give up. So I can tell you that I have clients that it took me years to sign in, but when they sign in and we do a good job, then it's
Yeah,
fine. I
and,
see it
and
as
don't
like
be afraid of the feedback, right?
yeah, like don't be afraid to get no's. I hear like I run a successful business and we're the biggest vendor in Israel for global recruitment. Okay,
Mm,
so I'm saying it from a good point, yeah. But like I can say that a lot of the time I hear no, and I have absolutely no problem with that because a lot of other people say yes. So it's being able to hear no and goes on and not be upset or disappointed, just to keep going because some will say no, okay, but some will say yes. And being able to continue and be persistent about that and about the marketing that you're doing, it's like planting seeds all the time. And it's an investment for the long run. And that's how I look at it. So I'm investing a lot in planting seeds for the long run, and it's worthwhile. And as I said, we've been doing this for 14 years. So, and that, and also to have a good partner. So, like working alone is difficult. I have a really good working partner. I call him my work husband. He founded the business, and we are kind of complementary to each other. So, um, it's a really good partnership. So that's also, I think it's a key, and it's really difficult. Over the years, we've tried to enter other partners to the business, and I think, if I may say so myself, we're both, and you know, but we're both really easygoing people. So it's really hard not to get along with us, and it was really difficult to get other partners to the same mindset. So just recently, we brought another person to another business that we're involved in, and it's a huge success.
Well, you said a lot right there. I mean, the parallels. I work with athletes and teams, and the
Yeah,
parallels to having mindset, having
yeah,
the same mindset, and creating a team that really is going to support and pick you up, hold you
yes,
accountable, and keep you focused if you're having an off day or if you're feeling isolated.
yeah,
Having somebody else you
yes,
can go back and work through your system, work your
yeah,
process of revisiting the 5 pillars.
yes, yeah.
In
And I think
closing,
like
yeah,
the
go ahead.
being like a one-man show, I think it's not worthwhile being. It's better to be employed because everything is on you. So if you get sick, or it's on you. And so if you are going to go outside of being an employee, I think it's important to set up like a system that you can take a day off, or it's not everything is on you. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, well, please, thank you so much, Miri, for taking the time out of your post Monday routine to make time for us. Please let everyone know how they can get in touch with you and contact you with questions and to
Sure.
use your.
So you're more than welcome to email me. Should I write it down, or how do I do it?
They'll put it in the show notes, but you can tell them out loud right now in case they're
Okay.
listening.
So my email is Miri, MIRI at EER, like expert executive recruiters, email.
Miri.
Miri at EER.email.
There you go. Miri at EER.email. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Miri.
Welcome.
I look forward to learning more from you about the changing landscapes of education and human resources going forward, and for having you as a resource to businesses out there looking to expand globally. Thank you
Yes.
so much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
Listeners, please, if you have questions, please send them in. We want to be a resource to you and shape the way you create and build your businesses going forward. And we will get the expertise from Miri when she's not on a beach surfing somewhere or running a corporation or having a team meeting or her many tasks. You know what they say, you want something done, give it to a busy person. So thank you very much. And again, I'm Richard Olberger. Check me out at Richard Listens, host of the Richard Listens podcast, bringing to you the wit, grit, and journey of high performers. We look forward to bringing that live to you on Spotify and iTunes. And if you want advanced content and behind the scenes, you can take a look at patreon.com/Richard Listens. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, Miri. I'm
Thank
Richard
you.
Listens.
Lovely to talk to you today. Bye-bye.